believe that you are a scholar?
Yeah, scholar. I've been to schools and I teach. I've taught scholars. Yeah.
Do you believe the scholarship should be validated?
That depends, because the validation is the logical fallacy of appealing to the masses. So that really depends, because you could be.
Let's take a closer look at how this fallacy works. An appeal to the people tries to establish the truth of some claim P on the basis that a lot of people believe P to be true. Because it's an informal fallacy rather than a formal fallacy, we know that there's something wrong with its content rather than its form. In this case, the content that the argument provides in support of its conclusion simply isn't sufficient, or even necessarily relevant, to establishing the truth of that conclusion. An example will help clarify things. Suppose you and your friend are arguing over whether or not Justin Bieber has any musical talent. Your friend says, "Of course he has musical talent. Millions upon millions of fans can't possibly be wrong." If you wanted to formalize your friend's argument, it would look something like this. Premise 1. Millions of people think Justin Bieber has musical talent. Conclusion. Therefore, Justin Bieber has musical talent. Now, if you think there's something fishy about this argument, you're right. The big problem with this argument is that it tries to establish the truth of its conclusion, that is, that Justin Bieber has musical talent, by appealing to the fact that many people believe that conclusion to be true. But this simply doesn't follow. Something can be true even if everyone believes it to be false, and something can be false even if everyone believes it to be true.
Now, we look at this example right here that is given. This example is nothing like the example that Tehuti has given. You know, something can be false even if it's true. Something can be true even if it's false. Okay? Now, this lady talked about Justin Bieber, and she talked about people saying that Justin Bieber have all of this talent, you know, because millions of people like him, you know, and she's saying that he have talent simply because millions of people like him. That is not true. Many people like Milli Vanilli because and they didn't have any talent. Okay, so that can be a fallacious argument, meaning a bad argument. That's what fallacy is. It means bad argument. Okay, and Tehuti's argument is a bad argument because rejecting scholarship, rejecting education, higher education, whether it's European, whether it's African, whether it's Indian, whether it's Chinese, whether it's Jewish, whether it's Arabic, disrespecting higher scholarship is a bad argument because you will never make it to the likes of those that have scholarship. Okay? You'll never make it. You know, you'll never make it. You'll never have these businesses, you know, making the monies and teaching the amount of people. Your success will not amount up without a degree to a man who has a degree, because this society is set up for that. And we're talking about, let's say, for instance, history, because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about history. We're talking about religion. We're talking about science. And it is the people who are educated in those fields properly that are the people that become successful. Anyone else, 9 times out of 10, they're charlatans. Tehuti, charlatan. His teacher, charlatan. You dig?
All right.
right, family, y'all. I told y'all, man. If y'all don't know who Tehuti is, I told you, you will get real acquainted with him. Tehuti is not the pushover. He is definitely a scholar in this thing. And I said Vocab is going to have his hands full. Vocab, you got 3 minutes to rebuttal. And then you can go right into your 10 minutes. Just let me know when you're ready. And you got 3 minutes to rebuttal.
All right, I'm ready. In that opening statement, we saw Tehuti's lack of knowledge about what he's talking about on full display. Your ignorance was on full display. Let me show you what I mean. Josephus, he says he wants to see Josephus, the Hebrew manuscript that Josephus wrote. Josephus didn't write in Hebrew, Tehuti. He wrote in Greek. And you say you want to have indigenous people. You accept those records. Yet you reject Josephus, who was a Hebrew. So do you accept Josephus, who wrote in Greek, not Hebrew, or do you not accept him? Make up your mind. And by the way, your criterion is simply your bigotry on display. Real historians don't say, this person has to have written the record. This person has to have written the record. Right. They say, what's accurate? What is provable? What is evidential? There's a whole study, a field called historiography, and no one does it the way you're doing it, because that's not the way a scholar would approach the issue. And that's why you don't know anything of what you're talking about. You didn't know Josephus's language he wrote in. You didn't know that 0 AD is not a real date. It goes 1 BC, 1 AD. You literally said 0 AD in your opening statement. 0's not a date. It's 1 BC, 1 year before Christ, and then 1 AD in the year of our Lord when he's born. There is no 0. How can someone who claims to be a master teacher, who gets paid for this, not know 0 AD is not a date? You're a magician. I guess you are, because you make people's money disappear for tricks.